Hey, welcome to Super Social Club. I'm Jeremy, and today I have two sherried Kilkerrans, the 8-year-old cask strength and the 15-year-old single barrel. There's a lot of hype surrounding these bottles. I'll find out if they live up to it when I nose them, taste them, and give them a mark. All right, starting with the 8-year-old cask strength. This one's coming in at 57.1% ABV, released in 2009. Let's see how it is on the nose. So right away, you're hit with a huge blast of heavy sherry, prunes, figs, dates, what you expect. You get that Campbelltown, Springbank funk comes through really, really heavy on the nose for sure. You get this wood element to it. It's almost like if you walked in to a sauna, or it reminds me really of a cedarwood closet. I remember visiting a cottage and having this small little closet, all cedarwood. That smell, that fresh cedarwood smell in this nose big time. But yeah, really nice. This is a sherry bomb. It is a sherry lover's dream. Huge, huge nose. Very bold. Let's go palate. Really nice. Huge arrival on the flavor. Lots of strawberry, raspberry jam notes. Again, that cedarwood that's coming through. It hits you hard on the finish. Lots of oaky cedar notes on the finish. That funkiness throws from the palate to the finish again. Very heavy on the palate. Very like attacking your palate with that funkiness. The finish on it is great. You get that like sherry, kind of like danky style sherry, where like that funkiness, the sherry comes through. It's almost kind of like that basement dwelling dunnage style of sherry and funk and peat. And yeah, it delivers. It delivers a huge punch. I think the hype is real on this expression for the most part. I mean, it's not the best sherried whiskey I've ever had. It's up there. And for its age, this thing destroys for the age statement. Like 8 years old, it tastes, I'd say almost double that, maybe even more. But yeah, it delivers big time. My only complaint, I guess, is maybe that it's too heavily sherried. I'd say it's like borderline on over-sherried, an over-sherried whiskey, where that sherry influence kind of just destroys everything else. But it's not there. It's not at. It's approaching the line, but it doesn't cross it. But it is very close. But if you are a sherry bomb lover, I mean, this whiskey has it all. Especially if you like a little bit of peat, that Campbelltown style. I mean, this is a home run for sure. But let's go to the score. I'm gonna go 88 out of 100. 88 is where I recommend buying the bottle blind if you've never tasted it before. This is how I score whiskey. It's in the description of every video. You can check out my score rating and where it lines up. 88, definitely recommend. Price, I paid 110 Canadian dollars for this. That was kind of more when the prices started going up. Retail stores started increasing their pricing, knowing the popularity of this. I think retail, it first came out when it was priced around 50 pounds. Like 50 pounds is an amazing price for this. Even at 110 Canadian, I'm still bumping it up one mark. Let's go 89 out of 100. Excellent whiskey. Let's move on to the 15-year-old single barrel. So something interesting about this expression, like I said, 15 years old, it's bottled at 51.5% ABV, 280 bottles. If you turn the bottle around and take a look at it, it actually says that it spent its first 10 years in Oloroso sherry, and then the final 5 years in ex-bourbon casks. Now that is really unique. That doesn't really happen very much. Usually what you'll see is an ex-bourbon matured whiskey, and then the second maturation is the sherry finish. Now, when I was talking to my good friend Rob Whiskey in the Six, he was saying that he heard that all of these single barrels, all these 15-year-old single barrels have been mislabeled, and they've flip-flopped which maturation was first. And that would make more sense if it spent the first 5 years in ex-bourbon and the final 10 years in sherry. that would make a little bit more sense. If you look at the color between these two, you can definitely tell that the 15-year-old is obviously darker. But to finish a whiskey, or I guess in this case, it's not really a finishing. It's 10 years and then 5 years. That's like a second maturation. To mature it in an ex-bourbon after you have it in sherry is something that I think I've never seen before. So it might make sense. If I find some information, I'll put it here about that specifically. But Kilkerran released a whole bunch of single barrel 15-year-olds. Ex-bourbon, obviously this is the Oloroso. I think there's a port, there's a Fino. If I can find all of them, I'll list them here as well. Oldest expression that Kilkerran has released, 15 years. I think that's as long as they've been producing under the Kilkerran name. So oldest expression they've released, 280 bottles. This one was specific to the US market. I think the other expressions were in different areas of the world. Some are UK releases, some American releases, etc., etc. So let's see how this one is on the nose. Yeah, so lots of awesome, sweet sherry notes to this one. Again, what you'd expect, those plum notes coming through. Blackberry, raspberry, really, really good. Lots of sweetness too. Vanilla. There is some funkiness in this, more mild, I'd say, than the 8-year-old. It's very, very subtle. Another really nice note in this is the barrel char. I feel like they've definitely used a lot of char in these barrels. You get that smoky, charred, oaky note. The nose on this is phenomenal. Really, really good. One of the better sherried whiskey noses I've had in a while. Yeah, it's really nice. Let's go palate. Again, like the 8-year-old, big arrival, less ABV, more complexity, I'd say. You get this awesome Dr. Pepper, cotton candy sweetness is coming through. Almost kind of like cream soda aspect to it. I'm going to say that's probably from those sweet notes maybe coming from the ex-bourbon. The vanillas, those sweet cola notes. Man, that's really, really good. Cotton candy. I mean, there's the finish is just really complex. Coffee, honey, lots of stuff going on with this one for sure. I mean, it's fantastic. It is a really, really nice whiskey. Now, let's say single cask. Single cask, I mean, it's 2 casks. I mean, they do it in ex-bourbon and then sherry, or the other way around, depending on if that information is correct or not. So I guess the second cask is a single cask. It's kind of weird. I don't know if other distilleries do that or not. One maturation in one cask, and then another maturation in another cask, and they call it single cask. Anyway, doesn't matter. Excellent whiskey. I'm going to add a bit of water. When doing my notes for these whiskeys, I found that this one takes water very, very well. Let's go 5 drops. Let's do it again. This thing is worth its second sip. Yeah, so that wood smoke's coming out more. The water brings up that sweetness even more. So there's more cotton candy notes coming through. I mean, this is really, really good whiskey. Yeah, this is awesome. I love this stuff. Score-wise for me on this one, I gotta go 92. 92 out of 100. Now let's talk price. This one cost $270 US. Now I gotta give a big shout out to John. John got this whiskey. He got word that they had a store near him, or maybe it was actually far away that he was driving to. Liquor store in his vicinity. He got word that there was, I think, 2 bottles available at the store. Like I said, this was a US release. The entire country only got 280 bottles. So I think a couple stores got 1 or 2 each, and that was it. $270 is what he paid after taxes out the door for this bottle. We ended up doing a trade. So we traded approximately equivalent value in whiskeys so I could get this. So John, thank you very much for acquiring this bottle. Awesome stuff. So is it worth that price? $270 is a lot. I mean, I get that it's a single barrel. I get that there's only 280 bottles available, but $270 is kind of like a secondary market price. I think MSRP on this is a lot less. If I know what it is, if I find out what it is, I'll put it here. But I think that this one, the liquor store, definitely jacked up the price a bit on it. So on $270, I gotta take a mark off. I'm gonna take a mark off at $270 just because I think that is just a little bit too expensive. But I mean, it's hard to complain for a whiskey kind of like this unique. So let's bring it down to 91 out of 100. Let's compare these head to head. Starting with the 8-year-old, I definitely say it's got that more funky aspect to it, more smoky, peatiness combined in this one. I mean, the younger age, I guess you can equate that, right? Like, peat does kind of dampen out, soften up a little bit over time. But yeah, this thing, it's a beast of a whiskey for sure. I mean, what a great bottle for 8. And the price, I mean, the price is just great on this one too. The 15 single cask, yeah, I mean, more complexity on the nose. The nose, I'd say it's a little more rounded, more complex, but at the same time, it's still giving you all that power as well. I mean, on the finish on this one is just so good too. Yeah, I mean, I could sip that all day. That's really good. So definitely sherry bomb whiskeys. The 8-year-old, borderline over sherried, but not quite. You still get a lot of complexity out of it, lots of nice flavors. More funkiness in the 8-year-old, maybe a little more bite, whereas the 15, a little more rounded. At the same time, is still very, very powerful. And I'd say lots of barrel char in both of these whiskeys. Lots of smoky, oaky notes to it. So if you like your whiskey heavily sherried, lots of power, lots of bold flavors, you're going to absolutely love these ones. Availability, I mean, you're probably looking at secondary at this point. These things went super fast. Have a look out and see if they roll out some more. Sometimes they do that. There'll be an initial rollout and then another one. But yeah, Kilkerran, what a great distillery. Awesome stuff coming out of there. They do it the right way. Both of these non-chill filtered, no added color. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what more I can say. They are definitely buys. If you see them, grab them. But let me know what you think. Kilkerran as a whole, as a distillery, what are your thoughts? The classic 12-year-old, I think, is a great expression. And of course, the cask strength versions. I mean, I don't think I've had a bad Kilkerran. Let me know what you think, guys. If you are looking for any merchandise, the hats, the water droppers, coins, shirts, whatever, check out the link down below, sippersocialclub.com. You can get that stuff there. That's it for me. Lots of awesome stuff coming up on the channel. Stay tuned. Some big announcements coming soon. And until next time, guys, cheers.